This time, we're gonna have a tanky build, that not only can do T17 maps and Ubers, but can also farm 8 mod juicy maps with 350 plus quantity, but there's a twist, I'm starting from 0 with only 4 basic stash tabs, so let's begin the journey. We gonna play Herald of Agony on the Herald Ascendancy, but we can't play it until Library, therefore, we have to level with something else up to level 31, then we transition to our main skill, and that is the plan. You can play with any skill you want, but Raging Spirits are too strong for early acts, therefore, we gonna rush to Minion instability and make a popcorn SRS build. Very solid choice as a starter. Not having premium tabs would be rough for selling items, but anything that can be exchanged with Faustus would be the right play. Having more minions is always a good idea, especially on bosses. For our main hand, we need a high attack speed weapon, like Quill Rain, but I did not have the currency for it, so I got this instead. After doing the library quest, you can buy Herald of Agony gem and transition to the main build. Then you gonna respect couple of nodes, and this will be your new tree, but make sure to get the plus 250 accuracy for minions, but more importantly, get Resolute Technique to have 100% chance to hit. I made several POBs for you, so make sure to check them out, you can find them in the description. Time to get our Ascendancy, and it's huge, 200% reservation efficiency, you can use 2 Heralds plus Arctic Armor. This is the first time I play with Reaper. Such a cool minion, I love it. Okay, time to talk about the Agony Crawler, you poison the enemy and get virulent stacks, and his damage will scale with them, therefore, more stacks means more damage, simple right? Cheap amulet, bunch of resistances and we really need dexterity. Insane ring, it will make us immortal, but more importantly, it solves our mana problems. After killing Kitava, you can buy some markers and dive into heisting, we gonna buy demolition or lockpicking contracts to farm currency, therefore, we will use them to buy the leveling uniques that can smooth our journey. And sometimes you will find decent rare upgrades for your build. Fox Shade is such an underrated item, 30% movement speed is huge. And permanent onslaught. We need to buy more items, but we are broke again, time to grind. We just need to buy Quill Rain and maybe a decent rare quiver, then we can finish acts really smooth. The damage is really good, but make sure you keep the crawler far away from the target, therefore, he can use his ranged attacks, his melee attacks are not good at all. For our second Ascendancy, we want the future nostalgia, but 15% physical damage reduction is too good to pass, especially against Azaro. Heist can be intimidating, but the investment is worth it, look at the speed. Finally, we can get more damage from our Ascendancy, but sustaining virulent stacks will become harder as we reach higher maximum stacks, therefore, we're going to buy the Golden Rule Jewel to poison ourselves as well. By doing so, we can sustain it more easily, and if we meet the conditions, we'll also gain Chaos Resistance or Armor. Time to start the real game, but make sure you are capped on your resistances, helping a Lyra in League start is always useful. To complete our Atlas, we're going to use Kirak as our main source of maps, therefore, we need idols with a % chance to gain Kirak missions, but also, we can buy 20 chisels for 8 chaos and sell them on the market for a profit. By doing so, we will generate currency while completing our Atlas. Another thing to note, we can also buy Horizon Orbs to create new maps we haven't completed yet. We also want June in our maps to get the crafts and possible upgrades. The best chest for us, it provides decent armor and some life, but more importantly, it has built-in pierce support. Don't have enough currency to make a 5-linked chest, so I will save these for later. Now you can add Vicious Projectile, and the damage is much better. Rearguard with good rolls, nice, but we actually need this for our endgame build, so we'll stash it for later. Look at the price difference, you'll always benefit from placing by orders. Good, now that we have a pseudo 6 linked, let's go say hi to Azaro. To scale your damage, only focus on virulent stacks and gem levels. These are the basic things you need to increase the crawler's damage. For jewels, you can use whatever you want, but if you need more damage, percent chance to poison or bleed for minions would be a nice boost. Accuracy for minions, or a chance to taunt or blind enemies, is also a good choice. Sending shipments or using the black market will give you decent rare upgrades. I should have changed my gear sooner, but it was fine until red maps. Let's run our first red map and see how the build performs.
Nice.
You can also buy eldritch currencies to get decent implicits on your gear, but if your gear is bad, don't waste currency on them. We will talk about good mods later. Widow Hail will be our endgame weapon. Losing a lot of attack speed is a trade-off, but in return, we gain a huge amount of armor and block chance. By doing so, we'll become tanky. Time to kill some bosses. Well, damage is lacking, but even for Guardian maps is enough, but we hate ZDPS builds, so let's fix it. We're only interested in medium cluster jewels, that can roll the pure Agony, and we'll stack them for even more damage. The rest of the mods can be stats or resistances, therefore, we don't need any other notable. These jewels can be expensive, so set up a live search for them. They must be at least item level 68 with minion damage while affected by a Herald. Also, make sure they have exactly 4 passives, no more. Crafting them is really easy, just spam alterations and augments, and you'll get them. At this stage of the build, we have 2 million DPS and solid tankiness, and the budget is less than 100 chaos. But this isn't enough, we want to kill Ubers and T17 bosses, right? It's time to invest more and upgrade the entire build. This section of the tree is not really needed. This unique jewel is perfect for us. It fixes our chance to poison, but more importantly, gives 25% more damage to our crawler. For your amulet, get life and resistances, but more importantly, look for +1 to chaos, physical, or skill gems to boost damage. As we discussed before, to scale damage, we're only interested in pure Agony jewels, so we need to add more of them. To maintain high uptime of endurance charges, we'll buy an armor-based small cluster, and craft it until we get enduring composure. For your helmet, plus level to minion skill gems is really good. For boots, the most important stats are movement speed and life, the rest can be resistances or attributes. For rings, prioritize high life and resistances, but more importantly, look for an open prefix to craft minus mana cost. For Eldritch implicits, we want action speed and intimidate. Exploding corpse, to trigger feeding frenzy for us. For jewels, use whatever you like, but I recommend corrupted blood immunity, or stacking multiple jewels for shock and ignite immunity. We didn't have proper flasks, silver and quicksilver are essential, but we have decent armor, therefore, we will add basalt and granite. Make sure to use the right suffixes and automate them at the end. We also want an instant life flask, and for special mods like no regeneration, we'll use a hybrid flask to safely run those maps. This anointment is a bit expensive, but having Culling Strike is amazing. We're almost done with gearing, we just need to craft aspect of the crab and start blasting maps. Those upgrades are definitely worth it. We hit 8 million DPS with less than 2 divine investment. We're level 95, so let's start farming bosses. We're literally scamming Faustus.
Nice.
By 6-linking our items, our damage jumps to 13 million DPS. Very good, but we are not done. We keep farming until we can buy expensive idols for T17 and Ubers. Press focus whenever you're in danger. It's very effective against Shaper slams. But don't try to tank Shaper balls. They have penetration and hurt a lot.
Help me! Help me! Nope.
All 4 void stones secured. Now it's time for some currency making strategies. The build is also great for boss carries, or completing challenges. For my first currency strategy, I wanted something unique that no one else is doing, something we can sell to Faustus. Therefore, I decided to get a 100% chance to drop oils 1 tier higher, and it generated me decent currency. But then I made enough currency to buy a bunch of effect of explicit idols. They don't need to be perfect. We just stack map modifiers to boost drops in maps. And I did high quantity corrupted conqueror maps, to increase the chance of dropping their exalted orbs. Whenever I got a Maven invitation, I did that as well. 300% quantity T17 map, this is juicy. You can generate a ton of maps in T17, therefore, I use them to make 8 mod maps for later.
Perfect. Nope.
Nice.
5 risk scarabs with an 8 mod map. This build can handle most map modifiers, but forget about leveling, because you will die in them. These maps get really difficult, but just look at the drops. Okay, the build is really strong, let's try Uber content. That Uber Cortex rolled tanky mods on the boss, but Cortex is the easiest one. I think the build needs more investment for other Ubers, so we need to go back and farm more. But even these maps are getting really hard as I scale their effects. We need to make tons of currency and upgrade the build. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, or share it with another Exile, or all of them. See you in the next one.